Minister, a real pleasure speaking to you. Thank you for finding the time to speak to CNBC. I've just read the declaration. It looks like it ticks every box. But more importantly, what's your interpretation of what's happened here in The Hague?
This is a more united NATO than ever before in really critical times. Europe is at the crossroads as the Russian aggression against Ukraine continues. So the main purpose was that we stand together, that we are united, that we are ready to defend Europe, and that we are ready to deter Russia. So that is a very clear message. We have the American president here. We have 5% spending on defense for the future. And we have once again said that we stick to Article 5. That is a very crucial message at this time.
Just on that last point, are there various interpretations of what Article 5 is, or is it just very, very clear? An attack on one is an attack on all, and there will be a united response?
Absolutely. Ironclad message to everybody. If 1 inch of our territory is touched, everybody will be encouraged and defend this inch. So we stick together completely. This is a clear message from this summit.
There were a lot of questions about what Pedro Sanchez and the Spanish were going to do in this meeting, that they just were going to get an exemption from this 5% target, 3.5 plus 1.5. Can you tell us what happened, how that got overcome?
No, Germany was from the first moment very clear. If you remember what I said in Antalya, Turkey, when we met for the first time, I think the 5% had a very good reason, because NATO really has to step up, not only financially, but especially with regard to our equipment, with regard to our personnel. We have to come back to be able to defend Europe, really. And that was clear for everybody here. So, and also Spain, I think in the end of the day, they were clear. They knew 1 against 31 makes no sense. So they agreed. We have a consensus on a declaration, and the declaration is that what is essential on the end of the day.
So I can't help thinking that what really sowed the seeds for a successful meeting here was the change of government in Germany, with Friedrich Merz and yourself and Mr. Pistorius and others saying, no, we really need to reinvigorate the German defence spending, we need to reinvigorate the Bundeswehr as well. For me, it was in 2018 where Jens Stoltenberg was berated by the president then as well. This is so different. Do you think that's a key difference between then and now? The fact that you've got a government that's saying, we will spend. We're the biggest power in Europe, we will spend.
Yes, I think so. Germany analyzed the very situation Europe is in. We are in a war which began more than 3 years ago, and it's continuing. And it's not only a war against Ukraine, but against Europe, and so also against Germany, against our freedom, our system here of rules in Europe. That's what we saw, and Germany needed some time, but we are there. And if we are back on stage, you can see how powerful Germany is. So with our commitment to the 5%, I think that was convincing for a lot of partners here. They saw if Germany goes forward, we are ready to follow. This is the kind of leadership we would like to show also in the future.
And there's been a little bit of criticism of your defence minister about his approach to Mr. Hegseth and Americans saying, well, look, if you are going to pull back a little bit, where are the gaps? And we need to know where we need to infill as well. Do you understand that criticism, because maybe it encourages the US to pull back in certain areas?
No, I don't see a necessity for us to pull back. We have really to use every opportunity to really be back militarily, politically on the NATO stage. I don't see one gap. There are a lot of gaps which have to be filled. So let's not talk about the gaps. Let's talk about what we are ready to do and what we really have to convince our people in our countries as well.
The key part of every NATO meeting of the last 3 years has been this tragic Russia-Ukraine war as well. Was anything said about how more support can be given to Ukraine to put themselves, A, in a better battlefield position, or B, in a better negotiating position?
Yes, the negotiating position depends on the willingness of Russia to also negotiate. So our position is absolutely clear. We have to pressure Russia we have to make clear that the readiness of Zelensky has to be partnered by the readiness of Mr. Putin. And I saw a lot of leaders here agreeing to really that. So we are, as the EU, European Union, ready for the 18th package, which will pressure Russia, and we're trying to convince our colleagues in the Senate and in the House of Representatives, so in the Congress of the United States, to also come to these steps. Unfortunately, they are necessary, but if they are necessary, so we have to do so. Otherwise, Putin will not see us as serious, and that is not a good position for us.
Two more different questions, if I may, then I'll let you get on, because I know you're an incredibly busy man. The EU is trying to negotiate a trade deal with the United States at the moment. Do you think actually the bonhomie here in The Hague has actually helped the EU come to a better understanding with the United States over trade and over concern about tariffs?
I hope so. The mood between us, the relationship, the trust we feel from both sides, that could be helpful, and I really hope we come to concrete results. We have some time, but not.
We have about 2 weeks, sir.
2 weeks is a lot of time in politics today, unfortunately, as the speed is very high.
Yeah.
So, but I think the United States, they have recognized that Europe is back again. So, and we want to be on eyes level with them.
Okay. And finally, sir, if I may, on a completely different subject, there is huge concern about what is going on in the situation in Gaza and the weaponry being used by Israel in Gaza, quite apart from what's going on with Israel, Iran as well. Germany, and I believe yourself, has said you're going to have a look at the arms sales to Israel. Can you give us an update on what that review is looking like?
First of all, Germany has a special relationship and responsibility for Israel, so that means that we deliver weapons to them. That was always the case. And it is needed, as we see, the threat from Iran is not gone, the Houthis are still there, Hezbollah is still there, so Israel can count on us. But of course, we are not blind-eyed when it comes to the Gaza Strip, to the humanitarian situation right there. And that's what we're also mentioning in our talks with the Israelis. So we're working on a ceasefire for Gaza. We're trying also to, with other partners, to push Hamas to be now ready for a ceasefire. Israel says they are ready. The last hostages have to be released. There are some Germans amongst them. And if we have a ceasefire, we will have a quick relief also on the humanitarian side. So we see that, we address it, and we hope that we can win both sides to come to a conclusion.
But in the short term, because of those responsibilities and because of your concern about Iran as well, there'll be no ceasing of arms sales to Israel?
No, at that stage not. Germany has always delivered weapons to Israel, but these are mainly used to be able to deter other enemies from outside, especially the ones I mentioned before.
Sir, great to see you. Thank you so much for your time.
It was a pleasure.